It's after midnight, and you're still in it. The conversation ended hours ago, but you're sitting there, running it back, frame by frame, and now you have the words. Now you know exactly what you should have said. The precise sentence, the perfect response that would have made everything make sense. But in the room, in that moment, when it actually mattered, your chest locked up, your throat closed. Whatever was in your head just went somewhere else. And the silence that came out of you felt like proof of something you've been afraid of for a long time. That feeling has a name, and it isn't what anyone has told you it is.
Here's what most people, including a lot of therapists, get wrong about this. When you lose your words mid-conflict, when you freeze or go silent or say something completely disconnected from what you actually feel, the assumption is that you have a communication problem, that you need to practice vulnerability, get better at expressing yourself, use your words. And if you've ever sat across from someone who told you that, while you were nodding, feeling like a failure, I want you to hear this clearly. That advice was designed for a different nervous system than yours. What happened in that room wasn't a failure of language. It wasn't emotional immaturity. It wasn't you being difficult or avoidant or broken. It was a body event. Your nervous system did exactly what it was built to do, just faster and more completely than most people experience it. There's a name for this. Researchers call it diffuse physiological arousal, which is a clinical way of saying your entire body went into emergency mode. And research suggests this experience is far more common in sensitive nervous systems than anyone tells you. You are not the exception. You are not the problem. You are someone whose nervous system takes things seriously. Let me show you exactly what happened in your body during that conversation, because once you see the real sequence, the actual order of events, the shame stops making any sense at all.
Deep inside your brain, underneath all the language, all the reasoning, all the I should say this and not that, there's a small, almond-shaped structure called the amygdala. The amygdala does one job. It scans the environment constantly, looking for threat. And it does not distinguish between a tiger in the grass and a partner who just said something that made your stomach drop. To your amygdala, danger is danger. The moment it detects something threatening, a raised voice, a particular tone, a look you've seen before, it fires. And when it fires, it triggers your sympathetic nervous system. Adrenaline, cortisol, heart rate spikes, breathing shallows, muscles brace. And here's the part that nobody talks about. Blood flow shifts away from your prefrontal cortex, the front of your brain, where language lives, where logic lives, where the part of you that knows what you feel and how to say it lives, and moves toward the structures that are focused entirely on keeping you alive. Your thinking brain doesn't go quiet because you're weak. It goes quiet because your survival brain just took the wheel. I call this the passenger seat problem. When you're flooded, you can feel yourself in the car. You can see where you want to go. You might even know exactly what to say. But you are not driving. Your nervous system is driving. And no amount of communication coaching teaches the passenger how to grab the wheel from a survival response that believes your life is on the line. Now here's where it gets specifically important for sensitive people. Research using brain imaging has found that people with high sensory processing sensitivity, that's the formal name for what most people call being highly sensitive, show more amygdala activation in response to emotional stimuli than the general population. Your threat detector is more sensitive. It fires sooner. It fires harder. And because sensitive people also tend to process their experiences more deeply, even at rest, even when nothing is happening, by the time a real conflict arrives, your nervous system is often already carrying a heavier load than the person across from you. Think of it like a switchboard that's already running at near capacity before the hard conversation even starts. Every other nervous system gets the call and patches it through from zero. Yours is already managing background noise, emotional residue, sensory input, things most people don't even register as load at all. The incoming call doesn't need to be louder. It just needs to find a board with no free lines. It's not that you overflow easily. It's that you were already full of things worth processing. One more piece of this, because it matters for everything that comes next. Research suggests that after your nervous system floods, it takes approximately 20 minutes for your body to return to a physiological baseline. Not because you're slow, because cortisol and adrenaline are actual chemicals and they have a half-life. Trying to have a productive conversation in that window isn't noble, it's neurologically impossible. So here's the problem with every script a therapist has ever handed you. All of it, the reframes, the I feel statements, the pause and breathe reminders, every single one of those tools lives in the part of your brain that just went offline. They're not bad tools. They work beautifully when your nervous system is calm. But when you're flooded, asking your thinking brain to regulate your survival brain is like asking the passenger to grab the wheel while the car is still moving. What we need instead are tools that speak directly to the body, tools that don't require a single coherent thought to work.
This is what researchers call bottom-up regulation. Not top-down, not thinking your way through it. Bottom-up, body first, nervous system first, no words required. I want to give you 3 of these, not because you need to be fixed, but because you deserve tools that were actually built for how you're wired. Tools that don't ask anything from the part of you that goes quiet under pressure. Each of these works at the body level. None of them require a single word. Tool 1, the physiological sigh. A specific 2-part breathing pattern that down-regulates your sympathetic nervous system faster than any other single breath technique studied so far. Here's how to do it. Take a normal inhale through your nose. Then, at the very top of that breath, before you exhale, take one short, sharp second inhale to fully inflate your lungs. Then release everything through a long, slow exhale through your mouth, longer out than in. That's one cycle. Do it twice. Here's why it works. The double inhale fully inflates the tiny air sacs in your lungs, and that specific fullness amplifies the exhale signal all the way to the vagus nerve. Think of the vagus nerve as your body's internal off switch for the alarm system. It runs from your brainstem down through your chest and your gut, and its whole job is telling your nervous system it's safe to stand down. Research out of Stanford found this specific pattern reduces physiological arousal faster than standard deep breathing, and it works whether your thinking brain is online or not. You don't need to announce this in a conflict. You can do it invisibly. You can do it while someone else is still talking. Tool 2, the cold anchor. Using cold physical sensation to interrupt a flooding response at the level of the nervous system before the thinking brain has any chance to intervene. Keep a small ice pack in your freezer, or simply know where cold water is in your home. When you feel flooding beginning, that specific chest tightening, throat closing, vision narrowing signal, press cold to your wrists, the back of your neck, or hold your face over cool water for 10 to 15 seconds. Cold activates something called the dive reflex, a hardwired involuntary response that slows your heart rate rapidly and signals the nervous system to de-escalate. It doesn't negotiate. It doesn't ask you to think or reframe correctly. It just lands directly in the oldest part of your brain and says, "You're here, you're safe, you can slow down." That's not a trick. That's your body's own circuitry working for you, not against you. Tool 3, the named pause. This last one is the most relational, and for a lot of sensitive people, it's also the hardest because it requires asking for something. And if you've spent your life feeling like your nervous system is already too much, asking for accommodation can feel like one more piece of evidence that you're too much. It isn't.
Before a hard conversation happens, not during one, agree with the person you're in conflict with on a specific phrase. Something like, I need to come back to this. Establish together that this phrase means I am flooded and I will return in 30 minutes, not I am done with this conversation. Then use it when you need it, without apology, and return exactly when you said you would. Flooding is partly maintained by the perceived inability to exit. When the nervous system knows it has a safe, agreed-upon way out, the threat response can begin to downregulate before it fully takes over. Research on couples in conflict found planned breaks with a committed return were significantly more effective than pushing through the flood. The word that makes this tool work is named. A named exit is a safe exit, and safety, just the neurological signal that you are not in danger, is the only thing your nervous system is actually asking for in that room. Here's what I want you to carry from this. The next time you're in the passenger seat, flooded, wordless, watching the conversation happen around you, I want you to remember, your nervous system did not betray you. It protected you in the only way it knows how. Your words didn't fail you. Your body just moved faster. That is not a character flaw. That is a sensitive nervous system doing exactly what it was built to do. And the work now, if you want to take it on, is not to silence it or push through it or keep apologizing for it. The work is to learn its language and to meet it there, in the body, before the words, where it actually lives. I've put together a free PDF called the Flooding First Aid Guide. It has all 3 tools from this video laid out simply, so you can save it somewhere you'll actually find it when you need it. Link is in the description. You don't have to fix your sensitivity. You just have to stop using tools that were built for someone else's brain. Starting today, you can call it what it is, a body event, not a breakdown. Next week, we're going into something that might genuinely surprise you: why sensitive people often feel completely wiped out after a wonderful day, and what that reveals about how your nervous system actually recovers.